Hi guys, thanks for coming today. For those who don't know me, my name is Alex Caulfield. I represent Sounders FC's communications department, and we'd like to welcome everybody for coming out today for an introductory press conference for a very special player. You guys can probably tell who that is, but I'll leave that up to our owner, Adrian Hanauer, to formally introduce him. Just a quick few news and notes off the top before we get started. Aside from those of you in the room today, we are streaming this press conference live via SoundersFC.com and a few other platforms. So for media members in attendance, when we get to the Q&A part, we'll bring a microphone around via Danny Ciascio, who's on our staff here. If you'd like to ask a question, please just raise your hand and he will bring the mic over. We'll have a few introductory remarks here from a few of our panelists before heading to the Q&A. For any additional questions, we will have scrums available at the secondary backdrop once the panel here has concluded. For any additional needs that you have in the way of photography, B-roll, sound bites, please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll make sure everyone's taken care of. At this time, I'll introduce our panelists and then turn it over to them. Immediately seated to my left is Sounders FC owner Adrian Hanauer. To his left is Sounders FC General Manager and President of Soccer Garth Lagerwey. In the middle there is our special guest, Jordan Morris, who Adrian will elaborate on in a second. Ziggy Schmid, Sounders FC head coach, is seated to Jordan's left, and to the far left of the table here is Sounders FC sporting director Chris Henderson. At this time, I'll turn it over to Adrian for opening remarks. Ziggy will then make a few remarks, and then we'll turn it over to you guys for a few questions. At this time, Adrian, please go ahead.
Thanks, Alex. Well, good morning, everyone. Another great day for Sounders FC. I guess there's no mystery here. But I would officially like to. The mystery was driving into work today, making sure that all the contracts were signed and that this was official. But at this time, I would love to introduce and welcome Jordan Morris as the newest member of Sounders FC. So welcome, Jordan. Jordan doesn't realize this, but I'm still a little bit grumpy with him. In mid-December, I was on my way to Cabo for what seemed like would be a really relaxing, enjoyable vacation, and caught wind that Jordan would be going to Germany, and definitely put off my golf game for a couple of weeks. So. But you know, my birthday is coming up soon, so I'll count it as an early birthday present now. So, as I was driving in this morning, I was thinking about what I wanted to say, and you know, I have to be honest that this addition to our team has been more emotional for me than most players that we've signed in the past. And it kept coming back to several themes, and you know, the first, I guess, that I would talk a bit about is integrity and character. You know, maybe character is the most overused descriptor term in sports these days, but it really applies to this process and the people involved in getting us to where we are today. And obviously this started a while back, as Garth mentioned this morning to me. You know, this has sort of been a 10-year signing process, given the length of the relationship we've had with the Morris family. And all along the way, again, this whole process has been wrought with characters, people of immense character and integrity on both sides. You know, as far as the Sounders go and the Morris family. You know, it's again at times I'll say it was maybe frustrating is the wrong word, but we certainly wanted to sign Jordan before today. But Jordan made a commitment to Stanford University, made a commitment to his teammates, his coaches, and about every 6 months we would try to test that commitment and integrity and character, and he was consistent and steadfast in what he had committed to, and And, again, as the process goes on, that, may be frustrating, but it also is the kind of person you want in your organization and on your team and in your locker room and working with everyone in our organization. So immense character, integrity with the people involved on Jordan's side, his family, of course, and on the Sounders side as well. The relationship with Ziggy, long-standing relationship, starting even earlier with Brian Schmetzer's relationship with Dr. Morris, Chris Henderson, Garth's involvement over the last year. I'm really proud to say that that we, things were transparent, honest, clear. Again, sometimes you hear what you want to hear, sometimes you don't. But for me, at least, it feels like the process was such a good part to getting us where we are today. The second thing that kind of related to that sort of struck me driving in was family. People in our business operations group on the soccer side hear me talk a lot about the Sounders family. That means all the way from our fans to our corporate partners, media partners, certainly the people that work for Sounders FC, the team side, media as well. It's really important to me that we operate as a family. And again, got me a little emotional thinking about the Morris family and Jordan becoming, continuing to be part of the Sounders family. And they are. And it's more than just, it's more than just a player signing. It's someone who's grown up in the Sounders family, which led me to sort of the final thing that struck me this morning, which I guess I would describe as maybe tradition and history. A lot of you know I grew up with the original North American Sounders, or North American Soccer League Sounders, going to those games, and it left an indelible mark on me. Going to the camps, meeting the players, having them be my heroes. I wanted to be a Sounder someday. Unfortunately, I wasn't good enough to play for the Sounders, but ultimately ended up, here in a different role, obviously, a lot of years later. And, Jordan is, is one of a growing generation of young men who are growing up in a time when they know nothing else other than MLS existing. And again, Jordan was about my age when he became associated with Sounders, as when I became associated with the Sounders, and I like to believe that the Sounders and the family and the integrity and the character and the commitment to community and all the great people around the organization have left an indelible mark on him as well. And in some way led to him choosing to be here today, because really it was his choice. I know Jordan had a lot of options, a lot of different pressures pushing and pulling. Thankfully for us, he's a super smart and level-headed kid who makes his own decisions. And so this is just a great moment for the Sounders. It's also a great moment for Major League Soccer, and for sure. And I'll let Ziggy speak a little bit about the soccer, and maybe there'll be some questions about the soccer and how it fits into the team. But again, it's important that this young generation of players growing up with Major League Soccer have a connection to the clubs in the markets that they grow up in. And again, you can argue about the soccer piece, but if we're doing what's right and putting the Sounders in young players' hearts, then hopefully those heartstrings are tough to break, and and a player weighing his options leans towards signing for the Sounders. And with that, though, we feel a high level of responsibility. There is the one thing I can guarantee is that there is no organization in the world, no soccer organization in the world, full stop, that cares more about the development of Jordan Morris as a young man and as a soccer player than the Sounders. And that's related to the people in this organization and his ties to the organization. So again, you have our commitment that we're going to do our best to repay your loyalty and your commitment to this team by providing all the resources and opportunities possible to make you as successful as possible. So with that, I think I will pass it along to Ziggy, talk a little bit about his feelings about today.
Sure. Obviously, we're very excited. I think this is a great day for MLS. It's a great day for the Sounders organization to have a player like Jordan join our organization. I remember when Chris Henderson, first brought his name to my attention, and as we were looking at players, and Chris is the guy who's often identifying guys from the academy and moving up. And the first time I saw Jordan, for me, there was just something unique in his game and something that separated him. And when we lobbed the first calls, Chris lobbing a call into the under-20 coach at the time, Tab Ramos, and we just said, just take a look at this kid. We don't know if he'll make it for you, but just take a look. And the rest has sort of become history as he's moved forward and advanced. And all what you can do for anybody is open a door, and after you open the door, they've got to walk through it, and he showed his capabilities of doing that. Adrian's support has been phenomenal in this, because I know it was frustrating at times. Jordan and me would stay in communication. I don't know if I necessarily agreed with him going back to Stanford for his third year. I told him that. And then before they played the national championship game, I told him he was right and I was wrong. And so you might as well win the thing now. And he did, so that's a great thing. And having been in an NC2A Final Four series, as Chris has, and won that championship, it's something that stays with you for the rest of your life, and it's a unique experience that you can always carry. So it's great that he was able to have that. Garth's role, at the end, negotiating everything and getting everything over the line has been tremendous. But more so than anything, it's been Jordan's honesty, as Adrian said, in the whole process, and development for me. So we all understand it. It's like when I used to be a college coach, I used to say to parents, I say, you get out of education what you put into it. Yeah, there's schools that are considered better academically than others, but at the end of the day, the education you get is dependent upon you. And I think your soccer development is dependent upon you. It's not always the environment that you get put in. It's what you're going to take out of that environment. And I'm very confident that his development will continue as he moves forward with our team here, the Sounders. Our league is very different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was pretty close to a player, and the option was go to Europe, stay in the States, and just the whole dynamics of it was different. The salary structures were different, the opportunities were different, and the advice was different. But now our league is at a stage and has developed to a point where a lot of those things have become erased. A lot of those things are very close to equal. And I think the development of players in our country continues to grow. And that next step, everybody individually knows when he's ready and when that next step is right. And I think Jordan will know that as well. And taking things step by step is certainly not the worst thing in the world, because it allows you to continue to grow and continue to develop, and that's what we're looking forward to with Jordan. So we as a club are extremely excited. I as a coach am extremely happy to have him on the team. As he knows, there's never any promises when it comes to playing time and all that good stuff. But he's also a guy who knows that he'll put forth his best foot and he'll earn his way onto the field, and I feel confident in that as well. So again, I'm excited as a coach. I'm excited for the opportunity. I think my staff is excited as well. Brian Schmetzer, I know, is here in the room also, and we're all looking forward to this as we move forward, because it makes our team stronger, and as our team becomes stronger, it makes us better as an organization. So thank you, Jordan, for coming, and I certainly appreciate your decision.
All right, guys. At this time, we'll open up to media questions here. And again, if you'd like to ask a question, just raise your hand. We'll treat it typically like a post-match presser. We'll go around and make sure everyone gets one through and then go back for follow-ups. Danny from our staff will have the wireless mic. And just a quick housekeeping note, there will be a photo opportunity at the end with Jordan, a jersey presentation for both still photography and B-roll. But first, to the questions. Again, just raise your hand and Danny will be around shortly.
Jordan, as Adrian put it, you certainly weren't lacking for options before coming here. So what was it specifically about this opportunity and about this club that sort of ultimately swayed you?
Yeah, I think, like they said, it's been my hometown club for a while. I mean, I've lived in around Seattle for my whole life, and I've grown up, following this club in their USL days, and then now in their MLS days as well. So it's just a huge honor to be back here, and I'm excited to be home and get going. So.
Don Reese, Tacoma News Tribune. For Z, you mentioned no promises of playing time, of course, but can you give us your first thoughts about where you think Jordan might fit on the field, particularly in light of the two other forwards that you have? And is it a problem that kind of quality, I mean, Jordan wouldn't necessarily be filling in when Clint is gone. He might be as gone as Clint.
Yeah, obviously they might be gone together, but having too many good players is never an issue. You can't have enough of them at the end of the day. I think Jordan is a forward at the end of the day. He still has the youthful exuberance that he can probably run on a flank for a little bit, but how we're going to play exactly next year will determine a little bit more in preseason. We're obviously leaning a little more towards playing three strikers. Maybe playing a little more of a narrow front than we have in the past, and it's again to make use of the talent that we have. And I've always been a coach who feels you got to evaluate the talent that you have on your team and make or devise a style of play, or not necessarily a style, but a system of play that enhances everybody's abilities to contribute and gives them an opportunity. So we also have a number of games. We got Champions League. There's Open Cup. Dreadfully. There's Open Cup coming up down the line. I don't think I'm on the sidelines, am I, for that? No. But
Not yet.
yeah, I don't think I've been cleared from my wrongdoings. But, there's certainly going to be games and opportunities. Jordan's also going to have obligations as well along the way. Obligations, we're still trying to qualify the Olympic team, which they hope they do, but there's a couple of games for him in March that he's got to play against Colombia, and hopefully they'll be going to the Olympics because that'll be a tremendous experience. So, for me, at the end of the day, it's all going to work out.
Just a reminder, raise your hands. If you could, introduce yourself, your Alex, Jordan, you know everybody in here. Tim, please.
Tim Booth with the AP. Jordan, how did the opportunity with Werder Bremen come about, and how much did you consider their offer when they made it?
I think, in talks with Jurgen and Andy, they kind of helped to set that trial up over there, and it was a great experience. And but I always knew I wanted to come home, and I think my time over there, obviously, like I said, it was a good experience and a cool one, but it kind of reaffirmed my belief that I wanted to play in my hometown and play in front of the 45,000 fans at CenturyLink, and just be around my family and be in my hometown. So again, it was a cool experience, but I'm more than excited to be home.
Will?
Chris, Ziggy had said that you kind of brought Jordan to his attention initially. Can you kind of remember some of your first impressions when you first saw him play and kind of what your thoughts were?
I mean, initially, Jordan was he was at Eastside FC and then came over to our academy. Darren Sawatsky was the coach at the time and had watched him play. Dick McCormick worked with him. So he had some good coaches all the way through growing up before he even came to us. So, he was one of those players who, when you watched a game and a ball was loose, he was running full speed. And you like that when you have a teammate running full speed because you know where to play him the ball. And he just wanted to get in front of goal. And it's something that you look for in players who have a nose for wanting to score and getting on the end of things. And you could see that from an early age from him.
Andrew Harvey, Sports Press Northwest. Jordan, these guys have been trying to sign you since after your freshman year at Stanford. Why now? Was it Jurgen? Was it the national title? What changed?
Before that, actually, but
Yeah, obviously appreciate that they were interested in me in after my freshman year, after my sophomore year. But, when I wasn't going to go after my freshman year. I thought that was too short of a time in college. I wanted to give another year. And then after my sophomore year, I was considering it, but I kind of had some, unfinished business that I wanted to accomplish. And I feel like I had a commitment to my teammates there at Stanford to come back and try and, help them win a national championship. And obviously it worked out this year. And it was a great way to go out. So I think, that as well as just I just felt ready. I felt more ready this year than I did, at the end of my sophomore year. And then, of course, going out winning the championship makes it a little easier. So.
Nico Marino for Live Aficionado Northwest. Jordan, with the Sounders attempting constantly to sign you and having your home base, your family seeing you here, is there like a big amount of pressure on you now that you're going to be here?
No, I mean, I don't look at it as pressure. I just kind of look at it as an opportunity to continue to grow and learn in an environment that I'm comfortable in. I think it's great to be surrounded by my family and surrounded by such a great organization because I know I'll be comfortable and I know that I have a lot to keep working on and there's some great players that I'm excited to get going with to learn from them. So no, I look at it more as an opportunity.
Larry Stone, Seattle Times. This is for Siggy. Where would you say Jordan ranks among great U.S. players you've seen come into the game, and what is his ultimate potential, do you think?
Wow. I hate. How do you answer that? Don't want to swell his head, that's for sure, because people still have to work for it. And I've seen, very talented players never fulfill their promise at the end of the day. But, what you look for is, does a guy have the mentality and the work rate and the commitment to do it? And I think he has those things. There have been some, great players in U.S. soccer. Certainly Landon Donovan is one of the best players U.S. soccer has ever produced. And he was a player that also decided at the end of the day for his development it was best to stay home and do that here. So I think Jordan, can eventually evolve himself into that same class. It's going to take a little bit of work and continued commitment on his part to achieve that. But, he has some qualities that I've seen in a player. I guess I've been around this game a long time. That's why I have all the gray hair. It would be still naturally brown if I wasn't a coach. But he has some qualities that you can't teach. And when you find players that have that, obviously speed and altitude are two things you can't necessarily teach. But he also has an ability of shielding the ball, bumping off defenders. He's got really good balance. He has an ability to finish. Some people want to see his left foot get better, but if you've seen him play, his outside of his right is pretty good. So he's got qualities that I think are unteachable qualities or qualities that sometimes I've tried to teach a player and it just never becomes ingrained or a natural part of his game. And so when you have that and you have the commitment to go with it and the dedication to go with it, you can go a long way. But at the end of the day, you can never predict how far that road will go because that's constantly a work in progress.
Michelle Ledka, Q13 Fox News. Jordan, did you consult with any players, either current or former, with maybe Sounders ties or national team ties, in going into your decision to stay in Seattle?
Yeah, I talked to some guys from here, talked to some guys at the national team camps and stuff, and the main consensus that I got out of it was just to follow your heart, follow what you felt was right, and don't listen to the outside world. And I just, I came to the decision and knew in my heart that this is where I wanted to be, and so I just took their advice and went with that. But obviously, it's great to have that support from those guys.
Follow-up questions? John.
John Zalaka, Press America. Jordan, what was the rationale for you going over to Germany and potentially risking injury? And second part, what did you learn while you were there?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity presented itself, and I thought it would, be an exciting opportunity to go try that out, and so I just went and did that, and it was a cool experience. And then, it wasn't there too long, but it was cool to kind of see how the guys acted in that environment. And but again, today's kind of about being here and about signing with the Sounders and being excited to get going with the season. So.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. Having been here since 1979, I think this is a very great day for the Sounders, and I congratulate you all on what you've done to bring this top talent to play for us in Seattle. It's a great day, and I've seen you play, Jordan, and you've got a great future, but you got to listen to the coach. You know what I mean? Anyway, good luck. It's a great day. Congratulations to everybody.
Thanks, Alan. Will?
Garth, for you personally, what has the last maybe 2 months specifically been like? Just kind of riding the roller coaster and seeing where Jordan was going to go.
I thought from the beginning, I met Dr. Morris. I think I met him my second day on the job down in Florida, and in talking to him, and it was pretty clear that Jordan back then was going to go to Stanford, and it's hard to argue that was a bad decision. So we kind of made our peace with it. At least I made my peace with it, and I think it's less emotional for me than it is for some other folks up on the dais with me right now. Just because I wasn't attached to it for as long, and I understood it was going to be a longer process. And, even when it came down toward the end of Jordan's season, I knew it was going to come down to, what Jordan wanted to do. And, I've given boring answers to this. I've probably been the most visible in answering Jordan Morris questions over the last year of anybody, and probably have had the least influence, if I'm being honest, because Jordan and I met for the first time, he can tell you, in my office probably about 2-3 weeks ago. So, no, I've had good contacts with Dr. Morris and the Morris family, and it's been cool to develop a relationship with them. And over the last couple of months, it was a process, and I feel bad because I've given that same answer in every interview for all 2 months, but it was about Jordan getting some more information and having some experiences, and then making the decision that he was ultimately comfortable with. And this was not about us, recruiting him. I mean, it was about a relationship, and it was ultimately about what Jordan thought was best for his career. And it's hard to acknowledge that, but I think it's important to acknowledge that there's no genius that the Sounders did here, or that certainly nothing that I did with regard to the contract. I mean, it was the worst contract negotiation I've ever conducted, in the sense of I said, hey, Dr. Morris, here are the rules. This is everything I can pay you. Hey, hold on, let me look in the couch cushions here. Let me see if I can find something else. Okay, I'll give you that too. From a business side, there wasn't much to it. It was just about, does Jordan want to be here? And trying to explain all the reasons why, I thought and we thought that this is a great place for Jordan to begin his career. And we're really happy that ultimately Jordan agreed with us.
Jeremiah.
You guys seem to, or at least all that Jeremiah, Senator Kirk. You at least kept a public face that you were pretty confident that it wasn't going the other way. But in your heart of hearts, how confident were you that Jordan was really, that once he went off to Germany, that he was really going to come back?
I don't know if I can speak to my heart of hearts, Jeremiah, but I can say that I made my peace with it. And for the exact reason I just articulated, which was that at the end of the day, it wasn't up to me, and it wasn't up to us, and it was up to Jordan. It was up to where he wanted to start his career. And I think there's a lot of data, objectively, as to why MLS is a good place to start your career. We've cited Landon Donovan up here. Clint Dempsey's a guy some of you guys probably know that started his career in MLS and went on to some pretty big success. So that's what I believe. But again, it's not about what I believe. It's about what Jordan believed. And ultimately, Jordan agreed with me and agreed with us. And, it was about, in my opinion, more about the relationships of the Morris family and of Jordan himself personally, to the staff and to our owner, and some of those long-standing commitments that he had to the city of Seattle. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that part of this was our fans. When you talk about coming back and playing in front of 45,000 fans every week, this is unique. It's unique. It's not unique in the world maybe, but it's certainly unique in North America. And it's our aspiration is to be one of the greatest soccer clubs in the world. And we believe we can do that. That's not just talk. That's not just us trying to puff our chests out and be grandiose. And keeping one of our top homegrown talents with our club is a massive step toward accomplishing that. And I think it's important that our fans take credit for this. They made this possible in large part by showing up every week, by giving us their support, by creating this environment that all these players want to come play in. And I think that's a massive step for us. And I think we're going to continue to grow. And the other thing I'd add at the end of this is too many people in this country don't believe in our league. We don't believe in ourselves. And until we respect ourselves and until we respect our league, we're not going to achieve what is possible for us to believe. And Americans aren't real good at being second best at anything. And I don't accept, and we shouldn't accept, that we're going to be second best at this forever. Maybe there's some advantages in Europe right now, but again, if we sign players as talented as Jordan, and Jordan shows us the hard work and the mentality he's shown at every other level, and he earns it, we're going to get better and better and better, and we're going to close this gap, and we're going to be one of the best soccer leagues in the world. And I believe that, and I'd like to think that Jordan believes it.
Don Ruiz again with the News Tribune. For Jordan, a kind of two-part rambling question. This is a rich man who was trying to give you money. This is a nice guy who was giving you soccer advice. Where, sort of as a young man, did you get the personal wherewithal to look them in the eyes and say, no, I'm going to do this my way? And also, is there a parallel going on right now? Did you have to look Jurgen Klinsmann in the eye and tell him, no, I'm going to do this my way? And what do you think this decision will mean for you with the national team?
Well, I guess to answer your first question, I think that there's no set path for everyone to follow, and the talks that I had with Ziggy, that I had with Adrian, it was all with respect. There was no bad blood, no anything at all. I think that they understood that I just kind of needed to follow the path that I wanted to follow, and I really believed that it was going to lead me here. I just needed to figure out the timing. So with them, they were great in understanding that, and so I think that it wasn't hard to kind of look them in the eyes and say, here, I need to kind of do this in this way. It's just it was what I wanted to do, and then they were great with that. And then Jurgen has been great too. I mean, he's obviously given me some amazing opportunities that I never dreamed about, happening, especially at this age. So, we have very open and honest talks as well, and it's easy to talk with him, and he's been a great mentor for me as well. And obviously, I need to thank him for everything he's done for me, because definitely wouldn't be in the position I am today without him. So, it's easy to have open and honest talks with him as well.
Nico Marno, this one is for Garth. You potentially lost 4 players that were key throughout the season in the postseason, and they were basically starters many times in the season. However, the only big signing that's had this season has been Jordan Morris. How confident are you in this roster in depth compared to the Portlands, Dallases, the LAs?
Well, I think Nico, you're talking about the 4 starters we had that were hurt against Dallas. Is that what you're?
No, because Alpidetta was key at times during the playoffs. Andy Rose that was everywhere. They weren't able to play outside and play up top when other people were hurt. That's what it is.
Okay. Look, I think we've built a very good roster. Certainly the offseason is not just about Jordan, but today is. So I think there'll be other forums to talk about the roster and roster depth of positions and stuff like that. But today we're really excited that Jordan's here and really want to celebrate that, because I think Alan said this is a big day for our organization. And, we can all fetch and argue as much as we like about the rest of the decisions. And but today's a good day. Today we got better. I hope Jordan's here for a long time. And I hope that he gets to enjoy today a little bit, where he maybe even gets part of it. We're not 50 people are sticking microphones in his face, and he gets to reflect for a second and think, man, I just fulfilled my childhood dream. I signed with my hometown club, and I can't wait to play in front of these fans. So big day for us, big day for Jordan.
Ziggy, you've talked in the past about your sort of open lines of communication with Jurgen Klinsmann. Did you have any kind of conversation either leading up to Jordan's time with Bremen or in the aftermath before he signed here?
Yeah, Jurgen and I have had numerous conversations, so, but that's an ongoing process. We always talk to each other, and, there were a lot of different things we talked about, and certainly Jordan came up in those discussions as well. Sometimes, when you have good relationships with people, and I think I have a good relationship with Jurgen, we can agree to disagree sometimes as well. And there's other things that we certainly agree upon. But I think Jordan said it earlier, Jurgen's been very influential and very helpful in his development and his growth, and is somebody that he feels comfortable with and talking to. And we think as well that the Sounders have been helpful and influential in his growth and development as a player to put him into that position. And we want that to continue. We want his growth to continue with us, and his development to continue with the national team as well. So, we're working hand in hand. And, so my relationship with Jurgen or my conversations with him are not going to cease or stop or anything like that. We'll continue to communicate, because we've been friends now for a long time.
Michelle?
Jordan, coming here this morning, knowing that this news was going to be made public, and now soaking all of this in, seeing the season ticket holders here, seeing all the media members, what does this feel like?
Yeah, it's hard to put into words. Like Garth said, it's a childhood dream of mine to play for the Sounders, and I remember going to the first opening MLS game when they played Red Bulls, and seeing the atmosphere and seeing the energy in the stadium, and just thinking that I want to be on that field someday, and to know that day has come, that I get assigned with this amazing club is it's awesome, and I think, again, like they said, it's an honor to be able to play in front of the best fans in the league, so that definitely played a role in my decision, is that you get to come and play in front of 45,000 fans every week, and just the environment, the atmosphere, the city of Seattle, all of it helped play a role in my decision. It's just it's a dream come true.
Steven, in the back.
Garth, you mentioned that respecting yourself, respecting our league in order for it to grow and reach its potential. Is this a bellwether moment for American soccer, getting one of our best prospects to stay home?
Yes.
When we look back on this in 5 or 10 years, is something that changed the conversation around American soccer?
I was present in Washington, D.C. when they announced Freddie Adu, and I refused to make Jordan a symbol or a pawn in anything. And so I'm not, time will tell, we'll see. But again, Jordan's going to come out, he's going to join our team, and he's going to make us better. And he made his choice, and that is good for our league, and that is good for our team. And I think history will write, whether or not this was a big moment, and that'll depend on how Jordan performs on the field. And so we'll let that play out.
There are no other follow-ups at this time. We'll break for the photo opportunity, and just a couple of final housekeeping notes. The backdrop over there for individual scrums is immediately to your right. There are refreshments in the way back of the room, the back right corner. And again, for those that need any kind of additional assets, B-roll, photography, please just let us know. At this time, we'll have our guys stand for a jersey presentation.